Okay, so I tried to get away from a lot of noise to, well, I guess it's following me everywhere. I guess it's following me everywhere. Um, no, all over places. I don't even get it. Um, but the third, I was talking about find someone that has a strong character um, and is really an authority and is very, very reliable with that. What's that? What is that gonna do? That's gonna make you, um, if they're reliable, that's gonna put a level of accountability to you. I didn't know that that was happening already. The guy was already placing that because that woman, like, the times when I wanted to lay down and just like die and just give up, she was really, really by me. She was like, telling me to get up, always be on the move. Like, she would literally come out and like check up on me and all of that, and there were times like I would get really, really sad and she would want to um I said she would want to I would want to be like, cry, and I tell people, tell them about, what's going on, and she's like, don't worry about that. Like, what you need to worry about is fixing whatever it is that needs to be fixed. And I learned something really valuable of that. Like, people don't want to when you fall, and especially when you fall from grace as an authority figure or anyone in the light of the public, people, yeah, we say that we want to hear, what happened, but they really don't. It's better to just fix it, because anytime you're you're trying to defend it, you're justifying wrong. And at the end of the day, whatever happened, no matter what happened, like when I talk about my ex, no matter what happened, I still was wrong because I made the wrong decisions and I knew better. So um, that's what you have to look at. You can't change anyone else, you have to change yourself. So and that was the third one. And I was like, oh my God, I did not know that. After this workshop, when they told me that, I was like, I did not know God was already putting that in implementation. I was already going, and I was like, because of that, and because she took that much time on me, and she needed help, and it was something that I was good at doing. I knew how to run the shelter because I had practice in doing it. That was my whole goal. It was almost like I was walking into my destiny. So what I did was I didn't try to overpower or overstep my boundaries or anything like that. What I did was just submit and serve under her. A lot of people at that church didn't want me to be around there. A lot of people didn't want to, because of the stereotypes that they had, the stigma that they had on me. They didn't know who I was, or anything like that. But because of her, I was able to serve and do, and keep serving. But I just submitted myself to her. That's all I did. And that was like, so I found out that was like another, I kid you not, I wrote it down. I wrote it down. And I was like, oh my God, like this went straight step by step. And number four is completely is submitting to the authority. And that's what I did. I just, whatever she wanted me to do, I did it. Whatever she told me to stay away from, I stayed away from. Whatever she told me that she needed for the next time, I did it. The advice that she gave me, I took it, some of the stuff, even by how I dressed when I came there. I was like, why do I gotta dress like this? And these people that are older and they're dressing, provocative and more and I just got on regular clothes and I barely have any clothes to, put on. But I took every single advice that she told me to do, about being too flashy, speaking too much, giving out too much information, all that stuff. Like her advice, her counsel, I sat there and I was just a student. So that was number five, obedience to the counsel and the advice. Um, 6 was accept the responsibility for all the failures, every single one of them. And it kind of goes hand in hand with with number three, because it's like, you submitted. Yes, I was like, see, I couldn't have, I would have kept doing what I was supposed to be doing. So, and I didn't. I took my eyes off the prize and I was dealing with all this other stuff around me. So that's what took. that's what contribute to the failure, So I had to address that, and I had to accept that. Like, I really had to accept that and just take responsibility of it, you know. And the seventh one was promise not to defend it. Once again, if you're defending it, you're justifying why it happened, and you don't want to get to that. You want the overall outcome, no matter how bad it takes, when you go to work, you go for that paycheck, people say, oh yeah, you do a lot of other things and don't get paid for it, and you see the work coming out, but let you not get that check and see what happens. You might be okay for the first time because you might have saved, but wait till the second or the main with authority to speak on your behalf. Let the authority, the person who you got this relationship with, um, when you go into things, don't try to fight battles by yourself. I was trying to do that when people were talking about me. When I came to this area, even after serving her, it was a lot of people doing a lot of things, and sometimes she would listen to other people, the authority figure that I had in my life. She would listen to them because they've been there. But after a while, if you keep doing what you're supposed to do, eventually it will show. And that's what I had to learn. I had to learn that, and I had to be consistent. See, when you have someone who's reliable, and they're holding you accountable to, like, I'm just gonna do the best that I can. So, with that, I was like, I don't care what anyone else says or what they think about me anymore. I'm just gonna do right, and it reflected out later. So, um, yeah. So happy have, and it opened up a lot of doors for me, things that I could not do for myself. So you want to have that person in authority to speak on your behalf, because even if you did have authority one time, you no longer have that. You've fallen from grace. Like, prime example, one little sexual affair. He didn't go out. Yeah, he confessed, but it was somebody else that started. And if you notice on the past recordings, on the recordings, if you look it up on YouTube, you'll see other people speaking on his behalf that has the Secretary of Defense. There were a relationship coach. It was a whole bunch of other people who had authority, because now he's fallen out of grace. He's fallen out of favor with the public. So for him to even say, even when he told all those, and said he didn't have relations with the person, and now he's saying he did, he understood that now that you got this awful eye and people are looking at you really bad, back to that. Um, yeah. So, and it's almost like a running for cover. Like, when you, when it rains and you come with just a jacket on, you don't have a hood. When it rains, what do? You run somewhere that has a cover, a shelter, or a garage or something. You're running for cover. That's the same thing that when you are, when you're going under submission with someone with authority. If you when you have fallen from grace, sure, you want to say everybody's human, but most people know that there's a way to conduct yourselves, and because everyone's human, everyone doesn't do that, So it's a process. Nine was total submission to the discretion of the authority. And then I had put, uh, yeah, only the authority can bring you back. So that's going into eight too. And I didn't even know that was happening. Like I said, this woman was opening doors for me, like going to the city like camps for homelessness, understanding, like going into my next job. I would have never been able to deal with that training and all of that. I wouldn't have been able, even though I know what my calling is, I would that that chance to do it. And I wasn't submit to influence about my being. So that was a totally different thing. But I definitely stayed that way. And like I said, some of the doors, like, I needed, like, and I talked about that on my page. I don't know if I put those back up because this is a new page, because I did get deleted before, and I hope I don't get deleted again because it's just crazy. but man, didn't have and the affiliations, like some of the affiliations that I have, a lot of them are through her. I would have never known that, you know, and there's no possible way because people of that level wouldn't be talking to people of the level that I'm on dealing with or the level that I started with dealing with homelessness. Number 10 was permanent relationship with accountability. So what you basically are doing is continuing, you're leveling up, you're getting this experience, and you're branching out. You backslide, you know, you got someone to put you back in check, so you won't be just going all out of it and all kind of crazy. However, with this, you're strengthening the relationship because you want to go to put, you know, faith into action and work on it. That is basically it. I was just so surprised that I actually, after coming to this, after going to the seminar, I was like, and I wrote it down. I was like, I can't believe that God had already took me through this without even, yeah, everything happens for a reason. I guess at that time, and I know now at the time, you know, I was not ready to hold that responsibility as a responsibility.